Welcome back to another episode of No BS Woodworking, no fluff, no sponsorships, and of course, no BS. Today we're talking about measuring and marking tools, and as always, these videos are supported entirely by people visiting my website. So, today I'm gonna slip in just about 20 seconds of BS about Black Friday, but other than that, no BS. These are all my measuring and marking tools. I've spent a lot of money on them. This is not even close to all of them either. So let's talk about what you actually need. Let's get rid of the BS. Let's talk about the few things I use on a day-to-day basis and how I get really accurate results with them on the table saw, router table, drill press, on different tools. So let's bring it into the bench. Let me show you what I use. All right, so if you told me I had a minute to leave my shop and we had to go do some fine woodworking somewhere, this is what I would grab. These are the most essential tools, the ones that I use on a regular basis for different reasons. So let's first talk about the combo squares and why they're so important and why I have a 6 and a 12-inch. These are my combo squares that I use on a regular basis. A 6-inch is incredible because it fits right here in my apron and I use it all the time. The great things that a combo square can do that are so important is it can measure 45, it can measure 90 degrees, it can be a depth gauge, it can be a scribe. Check this out, all combo squares have a little scribe in here, so if you forget your pencil or your marking knife, you can just pull that out of there. It's got a little level, which I don't know why you would need that for fine woodworking, but every now and then I'm hanging a picture and that makes a big difference. They have different graduations, so this side has 1/8, 1/16, this side has 32nds and 64ths. They're a really great little tool. You can use them for marking square, obviously, or 45, but then you can use them for layout tools. So, if you need something that's a 1/2 inch in, you can take it like this and take your pencil and follow a line like that, or use your marking knife to lay out a mortise right on the end. Or if you need something that's 90 degrees in the middle of a board, you can take your marking knife, scratch this way, or if you need something on a corner, you can take your pencil there and then use your center punch. You get the point. They're great at transferring measurements. As far as other tools I would grab, that would definitely be a center punch. Nothing gets your drill bit centered, and I'll show you in a little bit, like a center punch, because if you just have a pencil, it is tough to hit that exactly where you need it to be. So these are great. A marking gauge is amazing for marking down the length of a board. And I'm gonna show you in a little bit how I use these to get accurate results on the table saw or the bandsaw. And then it comes down to rough marking, which is when I use a pencil and a tape measure. I only use a pencil for a couple things. One is rough layout when I need to break down lumber. So if I have a big piece of 8/4 lumber and I need to break it down, I'll mark out my parts with my tape measure. Again, a tape measure, you rarely in woodworking are cutting all your pieces to an exact dimension using a tape measure. A lot of times you're gonna be basing sizes off of openings or other pieces. You're never gonna need to measure more than about 6 inches, which is why I always have this combo square in my apron. Occasionally 12 inches. Obviously, when you need to get more than that, when you have big parts, you're gonna use a tape measure. One cool thing to note about a tape measure is this hook moves. And I used to think when I first got into carpentry, when I was a young kid, that this was just, because they were kind of BS garbage, but that's actually on purpose. This is designed to do inside and outside measurements. So when you need to measure the inside of something, that's gonna compress. But when you need to measure to the outside of something, that's going to extend. And what that's doing is compensating for the thickness of the hook. So that's a cool little tip about tape measures. I don't need any more than a 16-inch in my vest. If you're doing bigger pieces or you're a framer or something like that, you might get a 25-foot tape. Another couple things I can't live without are my digital angle finder and my calipers. I am obsessed with accuracy. Some people are okay with a little bit higher tolerances. For me, I find that calipers are fantastic, and I use them mostly for transferring measurements. I honestly don't even need this to be digital. A lot of times digital doesn't transfer well to like a combo square or a tape measure because you're gonna get some long decimal point, but what these are fantastic for are transferring measurements from one thing to another. And let me give you a great example. All right, so not everybody knows this about the calipers, but they have 4 places that they have exact measurement. When you measure something, I'm gonna set this to exactly 1 inch. So we have it at 1 inch and I'm gonna lock it down. Now let me show you where else is 1 inch. This here, we've just measured 1 inch, right? But check it out. These two guys, that's an inside measurement of 1 inch. Oh, you said you wanted height? Look at this. From this end to right here is exactly 1 inch. Oh, you need to measure the depth of a small hole? This guy is also exactly 1 inch. So they're fantastic for transferring measurements. Let's say I'm doing a half lap, right? And I want to set my table saw blade for the alternating cut. Well, there we go, 1.19 inches, but I don't care because Now I can go over to my table saw blade, I can set the height here, or I can go back to using this one here and I can just set my blade to there, make sure nothing goes over. Let's say I need to put a piece through the planer and get it to the width that's gonna fit in here. I can take these, measure the inside. I don't even care what that number is because now I know that when I plane my piece down, it has to just barely fit into here. So these are fantastic for transferring measurements, setting heights of tools. I use these all the time. I know not everybody's into that level of accuracy, but I love it because I can trust those measurements. So it brings up a great point, which is woodworking is almost always about transferring one measurement of a piece to another. So there's lots of great ways you can do this accurately. So here's a great little tip that I like to do. I just take a couple pieces of scrap. This is the inside of a drawer. Let's say I wanted to cut some dividers. I can just take these guys, spread them out to the edge, take a spring clamp, and now we have a perfect accurate measurement that I could then take over to my table saw, put in between the rip fence and the blade, and I know that whatever I cut is gonna fit right in there perfectly. So now that we've talked about my favorite measuring tools, let's talk about the marking tools that I can't live without and how I use them to get really accurate results on other tools. All right, when it comes to marking tools, this is it. When it comes to fine woodworking, I only use a marking gauge and a marking knife, but breaking down lumber is another story. Now, I like to rough lay out joinery if I don't know exactly what I want to do with a 0.05 or 0.07 mechanical pencil. This is a very nice one that DFM's Toolworks sent me. It's real nice, but any mechanical pencil will do. And then when it comes to rough marking, I'll use a thicker pencil. This is some cheap Pika knockoff that I got off Amazon, and this is a carpenter's pencil. And where I use these is for rough dimensioning lumber, so I lay out where my parts are gonna go when I'm breaking them down on the bandsaw before dimensioning them with the planer and jointer, or I use them for just scribbling on my wood when I'm sanding to know that I've taken off that layer and I can move up a grit. Let's talk about a marking knife and a marking gauge and why those are so important with some of the measuring tools we talked about. All right, so now this is where we start to put the pieces together. Marking knife, marking gauge, and a measuring tool, and how do they work together and how do we use them for superior accuracy? Well, first and foremost, there's a saying, and it could not be more true, that is good joinery is done with a pencil and great joinery is done with a marking knife. Let me show you why. Okay, so now when you talk about accuracy, a pencil lead is gonna have width. You have to contend with the conical shape at the end of a pencil, and that may push out against whatever ruler or square you're doing. So I'm gonna make a mark like this with my pencil. And then it gets even worse the thicker your pencil is. Now, if you see right there, you can see those pencils get further and further away from the edge of that ruler. Now, a marking knife is actually a flat reference, and so it will meet perfectly with your square and create a line that is exactly where you want that to be. So if you wanted to get the measurement where those pencils were, you're gonna be able to put your marking knife right there. Let's say it was, 2.5 inches. You put that right there, that's exactly 2.5 inches. You're gonna take your square, slide it up to it just like that, and that line is exactly at 2.5 inches. And just that is a good reminder too. Anytime you have a measurement, whatever that measurement is, you're gonna put your pencil or your marking knife there first and then slide your square up to it. Because let's say I had put a mark at, let's call it 4 inches, and we said, okay, I wanna draw a square line at 4 inches. I'm gonna put a pencil line there, again, ignoring the rule about the marking knife, and then I slid my square up to it. I might not be exactly against that line, but if I take my marking knife, I can put it exactly on that line and slide my square up to it, and then I know that that's gonna be right exact, look at that, right through the middle of that pencil line. So you always put your marking knife first, and then you slide your tool up to it. Now, the other great things about a marking knife is it creates something that you can find again. So I just made that line, and let's say I need to reference that again. I can slide my marking knife right in there. It clicks in, it can't move. It's gonna be there no matter what. Same thing with a marking gauge. Let's say I needed to transfer that measurement to another piece. I can take my marking gauge. By the way, make sure you get the wheel version of a marking gauge. This is a scribe one. It has these little pins. I hate these because it tends to follow the grain. I don't think these are very accurate. I don't really know anybody who likes those better than these wheel gauges because they move much better. So I can actually take that and look at that. I can find that. That is that exact same measurement there. And then I can transfer that down the edge of a board. Let's say this was a half lap and I needed to then transfer that to another piece and I wanted to hit that line and cut that half lap right there. I can use my marking gauge to do that. Other things that are great for this is you can create a knife wall for a chisel or a saw. Now, because the back of your marking knife is flat, you can use it to create a knife wall. So this is fantastic for joinery or sawing. So when you're using a marking knife, you want to do a light mark first and then deepen it. If you try and go really deep at first, you might push your square out of the way. So now I have this beautifully nice deep line here that I can reference. And what I can do, if I wanted to saw this, right? Now I have a waste side and a keep side. So let's say I wanted to keep this side and this was my waste side. So I wanted to saw right on the edge of that line. Now I can actually find this line with my saw by creating a knife wall. So what you can do is actually pop this up. So watch this. I'm gonna do this. And then that's gonna just pop right out of there. Boom. And now, if I've done this correctly, this comes right out. Now I have a flat spot to reference my chisel, but more importantly, I have a deeper area for my saw to drop into. So now, look at that. That's gonna drop right in there against that line, and we're gonna be able to cut straight right there. All right, now here's where you're gonna have to excuse me just 15 seconds of BS. We're launching these marking knives today. They're Damascus steel, handmade. We're also launching our Black Friday sale today. The biggest sale we've ever had. You can get these Damascus steel marking knives at my cost, which is $25 if you spend over $100. We're having tools up to 75% off. That includes all our CMT saw blades, Squeeze-and saws, stop blocks, dovetail jigs. There's gonna be bundles, mag switch fences, mag switch products, tons of stuff. Biggest sale we've ever done. All right, enough BS, back to the video. Let's talk about center punches. All right, so now let's talk about center punches. I always keep a center punch in my apron, and it's the only way to get really accurate holes in the correct location. So let's say I wanted a hole that was for like a table leg, or maybe this is for a leveler for the bottom of a desk, and I wanted 1.5 inches in from both corners. I wanted to drill a hole. So I could take my marking knife, I've set my square to 1.5 inches. I make a little line right there, come from the other corner here, do the same thing. You'll have to pardon me here. I am not ambidextrous in marking knife. So there we go. Now we have a perfect little X where we want our drill bit. Now that's still not going to be accurate because we want the center of our drill bit to rest inside something that's accurate. But because we made a marking knife line, we can actually find that. It's going to click right in. You're going to be able to feel it and then make a perfect indent right there. And then we're going to be able to find it with our drill bit. So then you can take it and line it up like this and find that hole. See how it like tightens up there as we get in. Now what's also cool about this, so I've got that hole right in the center of my thing, but if you were drilling a bunch of holes and you laid out these things, you can actually find this without having to worry about it. So what I'm going to do here with my drill press running, I'm going to get it close, and then I'm actually going to leave it off a little bit. Now watch this board move as I come down. See, it's just gonna find center on its own. Watch this. I'll tap it out just a little bit. Now watch this. I'm not even gonna touch it. So the way I do this is I let go, and right as it starts to drill, I grab it again. See, it finds center just like that. Look, I'll do it over here too. Same thing. I'm gonna just kind of put it close, but now watch the board move right where it needs to go. So center punch is fantastic. And then let's say you wanted to go back and find it again. You have that little indent right there. You can go back and find that same hole. Now let's head over to the table saw and show you how I use a marking knife and a marking gauge to get really accurate results every time. All right, now here's how we are really accurate on a table saw. There's two types of cuts. There's a cross cut, which you do on a slider with a miter gauge, and then there's a rip cut. A cross cut you're gonna use a marking knife usually for, and a rip cut you would use a marking gauge for. This is the same thing on a bandsaw. So let's say I measured, I don't know, some arbitrary number, let's call it 6 inches. And I put my marking knife there, and I wanted to mark around this board so I can make an accurate cross cut. So I put my marking knife right at 6 inches, I slide my square up to it, I make a light mark and then a heavier mark. And now this is where this is great, because this is how you mark all the way around the board. Take it, you found it. Now listen to that, just clicks right in, and then I can take my square, put it right up to my marking knife, and I know I'm exactly where that line is. Same thing, I'm gonna make a light mark and then a heavier mark, just like that. And then same thing again, I can just wrap it around. We're gonna find that line, just like that. Light mark and then a heavier mark. And what's gonna be cool here, you're gonna see when I flip this board, that they're gonna meet up perfectly. Now look at that, perfectly meet up. Now, how do we get an accurate cut with our table saw? Okay, so now here's our marking knife line. Now your saw blade is gonna have a tooth that faces this way, and then the next tooth is gonna face the next. That's called alternate tooth bevel. Almost all blades you'd be using to make crosscuts have that. Some have a flat top grind, but that's usually a rip blade. And either way, you would want to get the furthest part of the teeth towards your line. Obviously, you wanna be cutting in your waist side, and it's actually gonna click right in there, just like your marking knife. You can feel that. So I actually can feel that click in there. Now, if this is a one-off cut, you would just hold it there. If you're gonna make repeatable cuts, a bunch of legs or something like that, you're gonna slide your stop block up to it. But now I know that this is gonna cut that line perfectly. Let me show you. Here we go. So now that cut exactly on my line. And now let me show you how we do it for rip cuts. All good squares are gonna have indents on their graduations. You can actually take your marking gauge. Let's say I wanted to rip a 1/2 inch piece. So I can set it right in the 1/2 inch there, bring it up to my square, tighten my gauge. Now this is exactly 1/2 inch. Now I can take this and I'm gonna mark the front of my board. So I'm gonna take this again, you wanna go light at first and then darken it up. And this is gonna be, so we use the same sawtooth trick. If you were doing a bandsaw, you would wanna mark down the edge of your board like this. Bonus tip, if you ever wanna find center on a board, like if you're resawing on a bandsaw, you can just take your marking gauge and set it kinda close. So that's like roughly center, right? And I could take it and go this way and then go over to the other side of the board. And look at that, right in between those two lines, that's the exact center of the board. Little bonus tip for you, sorry. Back to what we were doing before. We marked the front of our board. If you were doing the bandsaw, you would go all the way down your board. And then you can take that and do the same thing we did before, which is you can take that tooth and put it, now this time it's gonna be the tooth facing towards my fence. I'm gonna bump my fence over till that tooth locks perfectly in there. There we go. I'm gonna cut this and then I'm gonna show you with a pair of calipers that we nailed 1/2 inch, or real close to it at least. All right, so moment of truth. Look at that. That's about as close as you can get. Pretty unbelievable. So that's how you can get really superior accuracy with measuring and marking tools. Let me show you one more tip for the router and router table and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, now let's say we wanted to make a mortise, and it doesn't matter what size it is. We are gonna make it whatever width this is, and then we're gonna use our square to set the ends of our mortise, just like this. Now, we can use our router bit to find this exact line. Okay, so same thing with the router. This works on the router table if you're doing like the height of a groove or something like this, but this is one of the best things for it. So you would use your edge guide, and you could set it, and you would just use your bit to find the outside of that line. So just go there, use your bit, you would set your edge guide, and then you could do the same thing at the end. You could find your end by, it just clicks right in there. You rotate it, make sure you're not going over your line, and then you could set a stop on either side with a clamp, and you can make your mortise just like that. Do the same thing on the other side. And if you used a marking gauge like I did, where you went equal distances from either side and you had your edge guide set, you could do the same thing and just flip it around, and you're gonna hit the exact same line on the other side. So great little trick. Marking and measuring is done with cutting fibers. That's with a marking gauge or a marking knife. Like I said, good joinery is done with a pencil, and great joinery is done with a marking knife. And that's the basic tools I use, and that's all you really need. There's lots of stuff, like I said, that is just, it's great sometimes, but it's not super important. And lastly, guys, thank you for your support over the years. I'm never not humbled by it. It's just amazing that a bunch of people want to watch me teach them about woodworking, and it blows my mind. And it blows my mind that we're able to support these videos and this free content with just our website without doing sponsorships. So this is the biggest weekend of the year, and if you can avoid giving your money to some billionaire having a rocket race, that would be awesome. Support local business, whether it's me or somebody else. I really appreciate it. Head over to Cam Tools. We're gonna have our biggest sale of all time all week long. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe in the shop. Have a wonderful day.